Last week I took the GitHub Copilot certification, so I thought why not making a video sharing my experience, so just in case you're also interested in taking this certification, well, I hope this information might be useful for you. So first of all, the certification page, it is this one, GitHub Copilot, should be GH-300, I think it's written somewhere, yeah, it's a GH-300 exam. And the first thing I did really was to do the practice run. Now, let's be honest, I use GitHub Copilot since 2023, basically the year it was launched. So I kind of know the tool, and the first thing here it was just have a rough idea of what my initial level was, even before doing all the training course. We're gonna get there in a moment. And in fact, if I look at the previous attempts, well, this is just a random run I just did, a score 92. And then the morning, right before taking the exam, I did another run after kind of studying at a score 96. So this is helpful if you want to have a rough idea about your level, but don't get fooled. I think that these questions are slightly easier than the exam. I scored less than the exam. So just as a baseline, if you have no idea about these questions, then there you have a lot of study. If you are kind of good in the practical exam, then you have a good level and it shouldn't be too painful studying to pass the exam. Now, what did I do to study? Well, there's this course here on the page, which is split into different sections. And this has been kind of helpful, as in fact it is self-paced, so it's basically some text. You have your learning path where you can learn some about the basics, really. And the cool thing is that it's written text. So I was kind of undecided. Maybe a video was better, but since I already know most of the stuff, quickly reading through this text has been really fast. But also on the other side, when I was reading about the features, okay, it's super simple, super easy. But the thing I knew less were all the enterprise stuff, basically. Maybe it's not here, it's on the other one. But anyway, as an individual user of Copilot, like I said, I know all the features. But the exam, as you can also see down here, has a heavy part, not only on the features, but also on the plans and on the data management. That's super important. Like if you're just a single user, you think you might care less. But if you're doing this also for companies into an enterprise environment, you must know all the pricing stuff, all the environments. A lot of questions were about content exclusion and intellectual property, which as an individual user, I just knew less. So I had to study this part better, and the questions about all the enterprise and business licenses were the one I struggled the most, obviously, since they're the one I knew less. But anyway, with that said, doing the two fundamental courses helped me a lot in refreshing all my skills, and here it says 5 hours and 3 hours. But to be honest, I think in 3 hours I did both of them. It's like I said, if you're a Copilot user, it's not gonna be that difficult. But beware of the enterprise and business stuff. So we talked about preparing for the exam. We did another practice session to make sure that we kind of know the stuff. So it's time to take the exam. Now here it's written you have 100 minutes. Question are 60, I think. It's not written here maybe. Anyway, my run had 60 questions. So if you know the stuff, there's really plenty of time. You can carefully do all the questions, then you can review them. And if you know Copilot or the stuff you're doing the exam for, 100 minutes is more than enough. And now speaking about the exam, how does the exam work? Now it is done through Pearson VUE. I think I can also click here and see what happens. So yeah, there's some details here you have to fill, then you get redirected to the Pearson VUE platform where you can schedule the exam. You have basically two options. You can do the exam in person at one of the Pearson VUE facilities. I did not do that, but because you can also do that online. Now, the online version it was kind of scary idea. I heard about exams where they ask you to film all about your surroundings. You have to be into an empty room. There has to be silence to make it sure that the exam is as fair as possible and you're not cheating. But in fact, I just went to the kitchen with no electrical devices around me. I had to take a picture of my surrounding, and that's basically it. I did the exam They obviously want you to have only one monitor, the webcam always turned on, and so the microphone, but you don't see anyone. So you're just by yourself in silence in the room and you do the exam. Super simple. The procedure has been really fast and simple, as I said. Just pictures, the setup, and you're good to go. And also there's all the instructions, and there's a software you can use from Pearson VUE, obviously, that you can use to do a quick round of tests, make sure that your computer is fine. Just close all your application or restart your computer, run the exam software, and you're good to go. Now, before closing, a couple of minutes with my opinion on these kind of certifications. First of all, if you do that just to get a badge, it's probably pointless. I mean, if you know nothing about the subject and you have to study just so that you can say, hey, I got the certification, it doesn't make any sense. But there's kind of a gray zone, because sometimes you might be required to do that for work. As companies might trust other companies or individuals who have that shiny badge in their profile. Now, if done that way, is probably not ideal, but I get the idea. The goal of having a certification, though, should be that you know the subject, you know all the things around, and you can somehow certificate, demonstrate that you know the thing, even without having to work or do some other tests or practices. Even though the only thing that really matters is your day-to-day work. It's not about having the badge, having the certification, but it's about doing your job well with the tool or the subject, the thing the certification is about. Now, in my case, I use Copilot every day. I know the tool, so I just wanted to also prove, not to other people, but mostly to myself, that I know the stuff. And also, the having to quickly study to get the certification also forced me, well, not forced, made me learn and study a little bit more all the account management, security, and enterprise stuff that, as I mentioned, as an individual user, I didn't have many reasons to do so. And with that said, that had to be a quick video. I think it's about, well, 10 minutes uncut. It's probably gonna be a little bit shorter. With that said, that's pretty much it about my quick experience about doing this certification exam. It was my first certification, so I went the easy way, taking a topic I know. And in case you have questions about the GH-300 or how I did the exam or how the software works, anything, just drop a comment down below. I'm super happy to give you some help, and well, enjoy your study session, do your certification, and have fun. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.